All right, guys, so now we've moved into our later season hunts, right? So this is going to be everything from mid-November all the way deep into December, wolf hunts way up in British Columbia or the Yukon or whatever, okay? So I'm for sure ragwool all the way now, okay, on my outer sock layer. And then a lot of times what I'll do instead of a silk liner sock, I'll actually use a mid-level merino wool sock as my liner sock, basically. So that adds some warmth there, and you just have to kind of figure out where you're at on that spectrum and how much insulation you have in your other boots and how cold it is to figure out if that's the swap you want to do. But for sure, a ragwool outer layer, okay? All right, so now when we've moved into colder weather, there's a few different boots that people tend to move into, right? And we're giving up mobility for warmth is basically the gist of it. As it gets colder and colder, that gets more extreme and more extreme, okay? So one boot I don't have here, unfortunately, mine wore out and I just threw them away about a week ago, but muck boots are pretty good, mid-November mule deer rut hunt, fourth season elk hunt. Those are a pretty good kind of pack boot / snow boot, okay? They're warm and they're waterproof. So that's, even though I don't have one sitting here, I do recommend those highly, okay? Here's some other options. These are Kenetrek pack boots, okay? The advantage of these over a muck boot is when you're using them, when they get wet, they get snow in them, you're active that day and you sweat inside of them and your liner gets all soaked with your sweat, you can take these liners out. These liners are removable, okay? And you can put one set by the wood stove or fireplace in the lodge, and you can have a backup set. You can put them in there, and then you've got a dry boot, okay? The rands are waterproof on them. They've got a leather upper. As long as you take care of this, it's waterproof. They're a great boot. A couple disadvantages about them, and that's one, they're more expensive than a muck boot. They for sure look cooler, but they're more expensive. And then the other thing about them, that it sounds crazy, but it takes a long time to put them on. You have to lace them up, okay? So while everybody else is throwing their muck boots on, these are going to take you a little bit more time to put on, okay? All right, so those are kind of your more traditional late season hunts, mule deer rut hunts, late season elk hunts. Those boots are going to be a good primary boot. If it happens to be a warmer fourth season, your waterproof mountaineering boot can work, particularly if you add gaiters to it. Okay. Now more extreme hunts, like late season elk hunts that are like mid-January, private land cow tag hunts, stuff like that. And then wolf hunts into, December, January, February, you might consider like a Baffin boot. And these are my kids call them my moon boots because they're a lot bulkier, but man, they're a lot warmer, okay? The muck boot and the Kenetrek pack boot I showed you, they're not even close to the warmth of these boots, okay? And if you look for Baffin boots, they're pretty commercialized in the sense that like a lot of, northern oil field workers in those communities use them a lot. So there's a pretty big mass market for them. If you buy them in the off season, you can find these for like $100, $120, okay? And they're nice, warm, they're easy to put on, easy to tighten up, and they're great for sitting somewhere where it's really cold, or even on snowmobiles or whatever. These are your go-to boot, okay? This is a Baffin, and I think this is there's several different models, but I think this might be the Icebreaker, but you can look. They have them all with ratings, kind of like sleeping bags. And you're going to see that these boots are rated at like -30 degrees, okay? So just one more note on this type of boot. One challenge, particularly on late season rut mule deer hunts and elk hunts. You start wearing these boots and they're a lot bigger boot, okay? They're a lot wider, so you got to be careful if you're riding horses, what kind of stirrups are on your saddle, okay? This is a very good question for outfitters if you're doing a late season horseback hunt, okay? And what you want them to tell you is they got pack stirrups, all right? If they don't have them, you might ask them if it's okay for you to bring your own. And the reason is, like this Baffin's the Extreme, is you put that in there and you still have mobility in and out, okay? That's key, all right? on a normal stirrup on a boot like this, it's gonna get stuck, okay? And that's a dangerous situation, all right? So baffins, pack boots, muck boots, you wanna have a pack stirrup on your saddle, all right? So that covers the late season stuff. Hopefully it's helpful to you.